So I'm Ed Leatham and I run the Surrey Cardiovascular Clinic, which is a specialist cardiac clinic working in Guildford and also going up to London. And we're consultants and cardiologists, so we have a very specialist medical market. And most consultant cardiologists work out of private hospitals because they need facility and they need investigations, they need tests, and that can traditionally only be arranged in a private hospital. So when I first started in business about 10 years ago in private practice, it was based entirely at these various private hospitals. But there was a very important missing ingredient. There was no facility to build teams. And so I set up this business here in Guildford about 5 years ago, getting together a group of secretaries, cardiac nurses, technicians to operate together as a unit, and that's when the Surrey Cardiovascular Clinic was formed. Very quickly we ran into trouble with just logistics because we're full-on medics. We've got a really busy day job, mainly NHS as well as private practice, on call, and very difficult to run a business as well. So I came across JFP and John very early on. Within a few weeks of starting, he came along and started to observe us in clinic, and within a few months had made a few suggestions and suggested a quiet beer to have a little look at how we might be able to help. At that time I didn't have a business partner, so it was just me, and it was all new to me. I had absolutely no idea about what this form of business could bring to our business. But it was very clear within a few weeks that it was going to give us a great structure to work from, in terms of a monthly board meeting with a structure to the finances, which would make it, which would be repeated every month, with expert input from JFP at those board meetings, which allowed us to concentrate with getting on with the work, the specialist cardiac work, without having to worry too much about the detail of running the business. So because we were introduced to systems that clearly are used in many other businesses, and structures and formats which just slotted into our practice, which made it a lot easier to run the day-to-day business without us getting too involved. So it was a uplifting experience, because it meant that I no longer had to worry about the day-to-day running of the practice. I could just get on with the professional side of the business, which is hard enough, without having to worry about things like P&Ls and profit and loss every month. It did facilitate that enormously. Most businesses struggle with the things that we struggled with, which is HR, financial planning. They struggle with the nitty-gritty of running a business, and the way to deal with that nitty-gritty is to have a really good methodology and to minimise the amount of time that you spend on it. So if you can concentrate the business aspects to a monthly board meeting with expert advice at that board meeting, it means you can spend the rest of the month concentrating on running the business, the actual, the professional bit in our case of what that business entails, rather than having to worry day to day on the bottom line and worrying about all the detail. And for a group of professionals working in a business, they want to concentrate on, in our case, the cardiology and the medicine. The business wouldn't succeed if it didn't have a structure that which allowed it to run in the background, allowed us to concentrate on what we do best, which is the medical side. So it works at every level, and therefore I can't see any particular major differences what we do and any other small medium-sized business. They're not there specifically to run the business. They're there to get on with the thing that they're trading, but they don't want to spend all day and every week worrying about the logistics of running a small business, on the HR and the bottom line and the P&L, and that's where JFP gives us the structure that you need. I think every small business needs a professional advisor and a structure to function best. These things can be expensive, but if you can minimise it to a once a month meeting, and have someone working through a structure that it can be repeated every month, then that allows you to have that business input at minimal cost, and that makes it very cost effective.